Hello, welcome back to my channel, and today we're talking about Man City Brentford here. It finished 2-1, as you can see, yesterday. 2 goals from Haaland, 1 from Wissa. Now let's talk about this game here. The tactics a bit, not too much, and mostly the players themselves, because that's what I like talking about. I don't like talking about the tactics too much, because let's be honest, we are not Pep Guardiola, and we are not coaches for a reason, because we're not that good. However, Pep did majorly get it wrong today. He majorly got it wrong. Now, I threw out an outrageous idea of Jack Grealish left wing back just a few days ago. As outrageous as that idea is, it would have been better than whatever Pep Guardiola did today, because it just did not work. And let me tell you why. So, normally we play with Guardiola here and Rico Lewis here, and then we have Ruben Diaz, but okay. You're trying to rest people, players, you're going to play against Internationali soon, and then you're going to play against Arsenal. You want these players to get some rest. Fair. Why was there no Foden today? That's what I'm wondering, but we'll talk about that later. Okay, so Stones comes in, that is fine. Walker comes in, that is fine. Rico Lewis on the left. That is not fine. And let me tell you why. And especially not if you're going to pair him with Grealish. If it was Savio on the left or Doku on the left, maybe it would have been okay. But no, it was Lewis and Grealish. Now, why is that a problem? Well, look at this. Pep Guardiola loves his box midfields, right? He always tries to create a box midfield in this area. That is what he's been doing since the treble season, and it works very well. But how do you create that box midfield is the question. In the treble season, it was Gundogan, Rodri, De Bruyne and John Stones steps up, creates the box midfield. Now, okay, great. De Bruyne shifts to here, Gundogan into here, Stones steps into here. Great, you have your box midfield. All is great, right? Grealish is on a touchline shift, and I suppose Rico Lewis can go up and down, but he cannot step into midfield. And that's where the problem is. That is not what happened. Grealish wasn't on a touchline shift. He wasn't in this area, which is where he would be in the majority of the treble season. Grealish was shifting into this area, into this more midfield area. And that's a big problem. If you're gonna have Grealish shift into this area, now you don't have a winger anymore. Okay, no problem, you push up Rico Lewis. Now you don't have a left back anymore. No problem, you push Akanji to the left. Now you have no centre backs anymore. So this is the problem with Pep Guardiola's system today. I don't know what he was trying to do. I don't know how he tried to create this box midfield. I think Pep Guardiola wasn't sure what he wanted to do. And that is just reflected with the fact that Rico Lewis, Stones and Grealish all tried to go into that midfield area, just creating this absolute clump of a disaster. Just an absolute disaster that. And it did not work, and that was reflected by the fact that we struggled. We majorly struggled in the first half against Brentford. No offense to Brentford, they beat us twice in the treble season. They are not that good. Oh, they are an aerial threat, nobody cares. Akanji is tall, Diaz is tall, Stones is tall, Kovacic is tall, Kyle Walker is reasonably tall. The idea that Man City should be afraid of our team just because they play up in the air is ridiculous. No, we have plenty of tall defenders to deal with aerial threats. This is just tactical flopping by Pep Guardiola. And I don't say that often because Pep Guardiola is a genius. But even a genius can get things wrong. And I hope that he's not stubborn, because last season he was stubborn with his false wingers, which caused us to lose so many points in situations where we didn't have to. Now let's hope that Pep Guardiola isn't stubborn about this and realizes, okay, this was terrible, let me not do this again. And I can prove that it was terrible by our substitutions. When Guardiola came on, he immediately offered something different than Rico Lewis. Rico Lewis, when going forwards, he wants to cut inside, mainly because he's also on his weak foot on that left hand side. He wants to cut inside, he wants to be in the same area as Grealish. Gvardiol doesn't care. Gvardiol will play over here as the left back. He will step into John Stones' position. He'll step into attacking midfield. He'll step into left wing. He'll be the striker. Gvardiol will play anywhere on the pitch. He'll still be good as well. So when Gvardiol comes on, he stays back a bit more. And Grealish suddenly has the freedom to play as a winger. He's not able to step into midfield too much because John Stones. But now he has the freedom on the wing at the very least, which he didn't have with Rico Lewis. If you want Grealish to be a free player, to have a lot of freedom on the wing, and not be a touchline winger, then you need him to play with a defender like Gvardiol or Aki. Rico Lewis and Grealish on the same side cannot work. They simply are incompatible. They want to play in the same area, they are good at the same things. You can't play them together. Unless you want Grealish to do a touchline shift, which I'm completely fine with. I think he's good at that. But Pep Guardiola clearly doesn't want that. So the problem for Man City was just this absolute clumping here of this left-hand area, which was paired with the fact that Savio had a poor day. And Savio had a poor day because he is clearly desperate for that first goal. He wants that first Man City goal. So he was just trying to get that goal, and he lost sight of his teammates. Now I watched Savio at Girona, about 20 games of him at Girona, and in 4 of those games, Savio was absolutely terrible. We have seen Savio play like an absolute Ballon d'Or winner so far. And that's what you're gonna see for the majority of the season. But don't be surprised when Savio plays like he doesn't know what a football is. He does that every once in a while. So don't be surprised if you see that type of stuff. Now you pair that with this absolute disaster on the left-hand side of the pitch, with Savio being terrible, De Bruyne being terrible. A lot of people are trying to defend De Bruyne. He got an assist. Wow, congratulations. You mean Haaland scored a banger, and De Bruyne got an assist for it. Because that's how assists work, yeah? De Bruyne takes a ball forwards to Haaland. Haaland scores a goal that, quite frankly, only Haaland or Mbappe scored. And then people are like, oh, De Bruyne got an assist. No, Haaland scored a banger. Let's not drag that up to De Bruyne. I love De Bruyne, but let's be honest, individual quality was lacking from De Bruyne, from Savio. Now you pair that with his left-hand side being in complete disarray. John Stones wanting to step up, Rico Lewis wanting to step up, Grealish wanting to step up, and you create a disaster. Not only for the attack, but for the defense. Now that is pretty lengthy here on tactics. I don't like talking about tactics too much, but this was absolute disaster class by Pep Guardiola. And in the second half, he completely changed it around when he brought on substitutions. And that is the reason why I still give Pep a 7 out of 10 for this game. Because if it was just the first half, I give Pep Guardiola a 4 out of 10. He was completely outclassed tactically in the first half. In the second half, he turned it around. We didn't score in the second half, but at least he turned the game around. We got control over the game. So the second half, I would give Pep an 8 out of 10. And I don't know. I guess that would be a 6 out of 10 if you go down the middle. But I'll go with a 7 out of 10 because it's Pep Guardiola, I suppose. So that is why I still give Pep a 7 out of 10. But tactically, this first half, I just hope Pep isn't as stubborn as he was last season with those false wingers. With that said, there are more interesting things to talk about than just tactics. And that is the players themselves. Now I will talk about Rodri as well. I'll talk about Rodri. I'll talk a bit about Doku actually. And I'll talk about where is he Gvardiol. I normally don't talk too much about substitutes because, well, they are substitutes, they don't play as much minutes, so you can't really talk about them. But I will talk about those two in a bit. Let's start here from, the goalkeeper, Ederson. I think I'll save the best for the last, actually. I'll leave Ederson alone for now. We'll come back to him. Let's start with Rico Lewis. I've already talked about Rico Lewis, about the tactical side. It was a poor game by Rico Lewis. He was just poor. I would give him a 4 out of 10 if I just look at the performance, but I can't blame him. Because he was put in a spot where tactically he was failing, so on the pitch the performance would just be lesser. So I don't want to be too harsh on him. because it's not his fault that his performance was this poor today, or yesterday really. So I will still give him a 6 out of 10, just out of leniency. 6 out of 10 is average, it's just like, the 6 out of 10 is where you start, right? 0 minutes played, you get a 6 out of 10 for me. So that's what I'll leave Rico Lewis on, because it's not his fault that he played poorly today. But you can be very harsh on Rico Lewis if you want. I just don't think that's fair on him. Akanji? Well, let's talk about Akanji, Stones, Kovacic and Gundogan in a single pair. Because the truth for all of them is the same. Sloppy. Just so sloppy in possession. Gundogan sometimes was a bit slow to come back to defense, but I don't believe that was his role. I believe that was Kovacic's role. And Gundogan was supposed to be coming up high to press. But it wasn't a big issue anyways, it happened like twice. The main issue is sloppiness. How many times did they lose the ball? How many times did they diddle on the ball? How many times did they almost lose the ball and get bailed out by a teammate doing good work to get the ball back? Just way too much. How many times were the challenges sloppy as well? Far too many times. Akanji, Kovacic, Stones, Gundogan, for all of them, it's the same story. For some, to a different degree than others. Akanji, I think people are a bit too harsh on him. He was sloppy in this game, don't get me wrong. But he was being troubled by what was going on in front of him. He was having to clean up a big mess of what was happening in front of him. So Akanji did a decent job at that all the same. So I will give him a 7 out of 10. Stones, Kovacic, Gundogan, no excuse for playing like that. No excuse. Especially Kovacic and Gundogan. Stones is just coming back. But Kovacic and Gundogan, that was just way too sloppy. Way too sloppy from both of them. I think Gundogan needs to be eased into this team more as well. He looks way too rusty. You don't want him to play difficult fixtures. You want him to, or at least not start. You want him to ease into this team again. Because like it or not, being a year away from Man City, that is a year away from Man City. You need time to ease back in. I only think he needs 3 games really. But that's 3 games, and Brentford was maybe not the correct occasion for Gundogan to start again, because Brentford likes to be difficult. Then Kovacic. I mean, I really like Kovacic. He doesn't play poorly a lot. And I don't know if it's entirely Kovacic's fault. Because again, everyone around him, Walker, De Bruyne, Stones, Gundogan, Akanji, were all messing up. So that puts a heavier burden on Kovacic as well. But there were too many times when the passing was just too rigid or poor by Kovacic. So I will give him a 5 out of 10. A 5 out of 10 for Kovacic. Stones gets a 3 out of 10, but he gets grace because he's just back from injury. Stones is a great footballer, don't get me wrong, this was just a terrible game by him. And Gundogan, I'm not sure what I would give him. Tell me down below in the comments what you would give Gundogan. Now before I go over to the bench here, Walker. Listen. How do you get worse at tracking runners as you age? How do you get worse at that? Surely that is the thing you get better on when you grow old. Brentford could have scored 5 goals today if Igor Thiago wasn't injured. I'll tell you one thing here, you guys haven't seen Igor Thiago yet. The chances that fell to Brentford today, Igor Thiago is on that pitch here. I have seen him score chances 10 times more difficult than that. Igor Thiago is on the pitch here. He will see that Kyle Walker is not tracking his runners. Thiago is quick. He sprints down the pitch. He gets the ball. First touch is sometimes iffy, but usually perfect. He scores a hat-trick. He scores a hat-trick on us. We are so lucky that Igor Thiago is injured. We are so lucky that Ivan Toney doesn't play for the Brentford anymore. Because Kyle Walker was an absolute disaster class here. How do you get worse at the basics? Surely, as you get older, you get better at the basics. But Kyle Walker has consistently gotten worse. He is the best right back in Premier League history, in my opinion, in his prime. He's clearly well past it. So, Kyle Walker, 0. 0 out of 10. He is at fault for the goal. He did a few good things when he went forwards, but he's a defender. I don't care what he does going forwards. Maybe I'll give him a 1 out of 10, because he did give the ball into De Bruyne that eventually led to the Haaland goal. 1 out of 10. That is the best I can give Kyle Walker. Ivan Toney, Igor Thiago on the pitch, yeah? We lose. That's a Ivan Toney hat-trick, Igor Thiago hat-trick, we lose. Can't play like that, man. You can't play like that. Especially not against Arsenal. He won't play against Arsenal, but you just can't play against Arsenal like that either. Kyle Walker, you're well past it. Let's be honest. Just give the captaincy to Ruben Dias. Just give it to Ruben Dias. I want Kyle Walker here to come out and do the same thing like De Bruyne. De Bruyne said, I don't want the captaincy because I want to focus on football. Kyle Walker, I beg of you, you need to do the same thing. Say, I don't want the captaincy, I want to focus on football. Rodri needs to come out and say the same thing, because a lot of people think he'll make for a great captain, yeah? He will not make for a great captain. And I'll explain why when I get to him. He's a great footballer, not a great captain. Ruben Dias, please, make him our captain. God, I beg of you. Anyhow, Kyle Walker, 1 out of 10, terrible by Walker. Then De Bruyne, absolute stinker. Got an assist, stunk his way to an assist. His crossing was not there today. His passing was sloppy, but so was the entire midfield, to be fair. He wasn't the worst player on the pitch. He didn't feel very impactful today. I think I'd give him maybe a 5.5 out of 10. He was slightly below average today. Just not quite there, but he wasn't the worst player on the pitch. He wasn't as bad as Kovacic here or Walker. But he was underperforming. He was definitely underperforming. Then Savio, I would like to give 2 different ratings. First half, 0 out of 10. 0 out of 10. Worst Savio performance I have seen probably ever. Second half, when he went to this left-hand side of the pitch, a lot better. Not perfect yet, but a lot better. A 7.5 out of 10. Now, if we combine that, I think it will be fair to give Savio a 5 out of 10 for the entire game. He came off with a hamstring, it looks like, which we don't know anything about yet. I don't think it's too serious, because I think he just limped off the pitch, because he was like, I dropped a stinker, I need an excuse to get off the pitch right now. I really think that Savio just wanted to get off the pitch. I think he faked injury. I don't think he's actually injured. I think he faked it, so he just didn't look like he was really injured. You see his face. He didn't actually look injured. He just realized this is a terrible performance. Let me limp off the pitch and let me hope that the fans forget about this terrible performance. That is what Savio did today. Don't like that. Don't like how he played today in the first half. What can you do about it? He's a young player. Pep Guardiola will rinse him out too if it was a fake injury. So don't worry about that too much. Grealish. I'll also give a first half and second half rating. First half, 5 out of 10. He was very underwhelming, didn't do enough. Struggled on the pitch again because this entire conglomerate here of midfields that all wanted to play together, which just can't. So Grealish, first half wasn't great, not entirely his fault. Second half, there he was better. When Guardiola came on, he was better. He was able to be more free. He was able to venture into this area without it being contested. He was able to play as a classical winger when Guardiola would step up a bit. And he was even able to step into midfield when Stones would stay back and Gundogan would drop deeper. he was able to have more freedom, and that allowed him to play a lot better. So for Grealish, second half, I would say he was probably our best player in the second half. An 8 out of 10. No, he wasn't our best player. Haaland's general play in the second half was unreal, but 7.5. I'll give him a 7.5 for the second half, which let's say a 6.5 for the entire game then. Now, what we've all been waiting for, Haaland and Ederson. They both get a 9 out of 10 for me. Now, I don't give 10 out of 10s on this channel. 10 out of 10 is you scored a hat-trick in the Champions League final, or you scored a goal like Diego Maradona against England. That is a 10 out of 10 performance for me, so I'm not going to give 10 out of 10 performances out very quickly. I've probably, the only 10 out of 10 performance Haaland has ever had was probably his 5 goals against Leipzig for me. That's the only time I've ever given him a 10 out of 10. And then I didn't even have my channel yet. But yeah, Ederson, 9 out of 10, just kept us straight when these guys just didn't want to defend. They were just like, no thank you, we won't defend today. Maybe tomorrow. Haaland, 2 proper goals, one of them assisted by Ederson, by the way, and that is an assist. De Bruyne's assist, I don't care about that. The ball from Ederson though, that I do care about, because that was an unreal ball into Haaland. How he took that, how he slowed down the defender behind him, just took his time, lobbed the ball over the goalkeeper. That was terrific play by Haaland and Ederson to get Haaland in that position. So they just carried us. What more can you say? They carried us. Haaland is on 99 goals in 103 games. If he scored a hat-trick, he would have had his 100th goal. It seems like I will have to wait for Internazionale. Or maybe Arsenal. Depends. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Either way, they carried us. And we have to be very thankful for that. Then our substitutes. Rodri. Rodri came on for Kovacic. He's just so fucking good, isn't he? And Gvardiol, same fucking story. They are just so good, aren't they? Rodri just knows. Rodri just knows how to play football. Rodri has not played a board game in 2 years. He has not played a board game in 2 years. Except for the FA Cup final when he was fucking drunk. It's unreal how good Rodri is. He's always on it. He's always controlling the game. Gvardiol just played to his level. Rico Lewis could not play to his level because he was out of position, out of place, paired with a winger who played in a way that Rico Lewis wasn't compatible with. Rico Lewis likes playing close football with Savio. Grealish ain't really about that, is he? So Rico Lewis, you can't blame him for playing poorly. Gvardiol was in a much better position tactically than Lewis, and just played to his level. 8 out of 10 for Gvardiol. Rodri gave us control over that game, which we desperately needed. 8 out of 10 for him as well. Now I did talk about Phil Foden, who I wanted to see. Why did he not play? Honestly, I don't know. I don't understand why. Surely you want to rest De Bruyne. Are you going to throw Foden in against Internazionale? Just throw him in there. 0 minutes, like a few minutes, but 0 minutes since you come back from being sick. He had the flu. And you just throw him in there. You just throw him in there. Good luck. Is he not going to play against Internazionale? If he doesn't play against Internazionale, when does De Bruyne rest? We can't play him 60 games a season anymore. We can't. So when does De Bruyne get his rest? The answer is when Foden plays. Well, Foden isn't playing right now, so what are we doing, Pep? This seems like the perfect game for Foden to just boss around in midfield. But Pep said no. I don't know what Pep is thinking so far this season. I'm no genius like him. He did well so far to get the most out of Haaland. he has set up a decently brilliant system. This game was just terrible. That's all I can say about this game. It was terrible. It was terrible to watch. It was terrible performances by the players. It was terrible on Pep the first half. Let's hope that moving forward, Pep analyzes all these issues and solves them. Because I will have a heart attack if I have to watch this type of football again. I can't watch 2 or 3 more times of this football. I'll just die of a heart attack. Just on the spot. Let's hope that this just does not repeat itself. Thank you guys for sticking along to the end here. Please do like and subscribe, helps the channel out a ton. Tell me what you thought about the game and all of that stuff down below in the comments. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.